We're all talking about Real ID, the May 7th deadline. And, what does this mean for implementation at like the Tulsa International Airport or the Oklahoma City Airport for boarding and travel?
As of May 7th, TSA will require every traveler who goes to the airport security checkpoint to present a real ID at the time that they want to enter the checkpoint. What this means is that we will verify the person's identity with their ticket, with their name, and make sure that we're adding an added layer of security. For people who don't have a real ID driver's license, there's also other documents that can be used to include a passport card, a TWIC card, which is a transportation worker identity credential, which is usually given to truck drivers. If you're part of a federally recognized tribe, you can use the documents issued by that tribe. So there's lots of documents actually that people can use. What we recommend is that they go to our website, tsa.gov, for a comprehensive list.
All right. And I know that like for our older residents that sometimes, all this is in their words, malarkey. I don't know what to do. I got
Mhm.
my driver's license. Upon May 7th, I mean, there's no more unless something federally gets pushed back. I mean, this is the drop dead date, correct?
May 7th is the date where we will be required to implement. Not only will airports require a real ID, but so will federal buildings as well as federal courthouses. So anyone who has business at different locations needs to review their driver's license. If it has a star on the upper right hand corner, it's very likely a real ID. However, we really recommend that you contact the issuing state. So if you live in Oklahoma, contact the Oklahoma DMV. If you live in a surrounding state or anywhere in the 50 states or territories, then it's your responsibility to contact the issuing state or territory to make sure that you're compliant.
And what kind of like campaigns? I mean, are you guys like obviously you're talking to the media right now. I mean, how long have you guys been hitting this? And I mean,
Mhm.
and then just trying to get this message out so people take it seriously.
It has been years that we've been talking about Real ID. The 9/11 Commission actually made the recommendation to implement this program as an added layer of security. So, in the past, the deadline has been pushed. If you really think about it, we have hundreds of millions of people in the United States. And logistically, it takes a lot of time for people to actually make an appointment at their DMV, get their identification, etc. So, the government has been giving some grace, but this is the year 2025, May 7th. No more excuses, no more time. And it's really important for people to act today because you're required in most states to make an appointment with your DMV. And in larger metropolitan areas, there may be a waiting period of days or weeks to actually get your appointment. So people are just thinking May 7th. I'm not traveling until the summer. We hear some people say, but a reminder that, the summer is about a month and a half away for many people. And it's our consistently busiest travel time of the year. For TSA officers, they usually take their vacation before or after summer simply because we're so consistently busy during that time. So if we have 100 people who don't have a real ID, we may work with them to get their identity verified, but it's not a fast process. If you're number 99 of those 100, there's no guarantee that we're going to do it in time for you to make your flight.
Okay. So that sort of leads me into like what if somebody is like, oh, I've missed the deadline, but they like I had it booked and they show up without the real ID. I mean, besides the passport, besides the TWIC card, is there any other way to verify? Let's say you got grandma and grandma said,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh, I've got to take everything ready," and she's just got a regular ID, and now you're at the airport. Is there anything, or is now you're sort of SOL?
So every day across the country, we have travelers who lose a wallet, lose their ID, get mugged, and they show up without a document to prove who they are. So we work with them by asking a series of questions about themselves. And we actually try to verify their identity to allow them to fly. And many travelers can tell you that we do work with them. We're going to follow the same process May 7th. But again, it's a numbers game. If we have a large number of people who fall into that category, then we can't guarantee that it's going to happen in a fast and quick time for them to make their flight.
Gotcha, gotcha. And then I guess about the traveling public. I mean, right now throughout the system, I don't know if you have specifics on Tulsa, but how many people already are flying with Real ID, and how many aren't? Do we have a breakdown in percentages?
Throughout the United States, right now, we're at 81% compliance rates. So some states actually are single issue states like Texas, where you don't have a choice. If you want to renew or get a driver's license, you must get a real ID. So we're at 98% compliance. In some states, people actually have a choice, like in New Mexico, where you can choose to get a real ID or you can choose to get a regular driver's license, and they're at a much lower rate of compliance. So it just depends on the regulations for that particular state. But nationwide, we're at an average of 51%. One reminder, a real ID is not a passport. So if you leave the United States, you're still required to have your travel documents that CBP will require once you try to get into the country.
Gotcha. And I know Oklahoma is, you got two different choices here in Oklahoma, so we're probably not looking too good here in our state. Is that probably the assumption then?
Well, I would recommend that you contact the state DMV, as they would be the ones to have those numbers.
Gotcha. I just like my list of questions that they
Mm-hmm.
like somebody was
Yeah.
wondering about. So our alternative identification, what does this mean for international travelers? I mean, if they have
Mm-hmm.
like they have an international driver's license or something like that and they're here, I mean, obviously they probably have a passport. So I mean that sort of takes care of that, correct?
For international travelers, the documents that they used to lawfully enter the US would be the documents that they present at the checkpoint. Anyone can present a passport from a issuing country so long as that passport is not expired. So that's really important. If your passport is expired, it will not be accepted.
Gotcha. Are there any such thing as tr people that, for whatever reason, they don't have all the documents? I mean, old timers. I mean, if they don't have the birth certificates and or they were, they were immigrants and they were legally naturalized back in the 50s, and they have a baptismal certificate from their country, and I don't know. I mean, is there other ways to obtain all the information that they need to get a real ID? Is there any complicated processes that? Because I mean, I think it was you need a birth certificate, you need a local bill, and if they have problems providing all that, like maybe someone with more of the indigent population or the homeless population or transient people, can they obtain a real ID if they don't have all the paperwork?
That is a question for the state because they're the ones that actually issue the documents. So I recommend that you contact them because they can actually give you like the compliance rates, what people need to bring, and what Oklahoma requires.
Okay, sorry, like I said, I got.
That's okay.
Let's see. The other agencies, is there plan phased and is there plan for phased enforcement, or will the requirement be strictly enforced starting May 7th? I mean, so is it going to be like this is basically the drop dead date. I mean, so there's not going to be like any more phases after May 7th.
That is correct. May 7th is the requirement. That's the date. And that's when every traveler who shows up at the airport security, I'm sorry, every traveler who shows up at the airport security checkpoint as of May 7th, who is 18 years of age or older, will be required to present a real ID.
Gotcha. And then for federal buildings, I mean, if I'm in a state that's not in good in compliance, like here in Oklahoma, what if they have a court case? I mean, will they be able, like, are they going to be held in contempt for not being able to walk into the court if they have a federal case?
That is something that I would recommend you contact the courts and get that information from them.
Gotcha. It's like I said,
Yeah.
I can just see all the pessimists and the
Yeah.
people that put off everything. This might cause an interesting issue just of, I guess people don't really think about all this stuff. Also, let's see, public agree about real requirements. You've already done that. Are the resources available at the airport online? Are you guys working with the airports to make sure, like, as this people are going in and out of airports, that there's like a lot of extra banners, and a little bit more hoopla upon walking in to like remind people like it's coming. Are you guys doing it more, I guess, advertising like outside of airports or outside of courthouses? I mean, are we posting a lot of information so people know that here it comes?
So we've been working nonstop with the media, with community organizations, with travel organizations to make sure that people get the message that May 7th is that deadline. It's every traveler's responsibility to be aware of the requirements, and lack of information should not be a reason why someone can't fly. If they have questions, we recommend that they go to tsa.gov/real ID for that comprehensive list of documents that are allowed. You can also go to all of our TSA social media platforms where you can ask TSA. You ask a question of a uniformed officer and get a response within the hour, and generally in 3 minutes or less.
All right, good deal. And with the talking with TSA, I mean, I mean, is this going to be sort of your Black Friday? I mean, because I mean, once the day hits, I mean, is it all hands on deck in the TSA? Because I mean, I are we expecting a lot of like holdups? I mean, what's the worst case scenario? I mean, best case scenario is 100% compliance, but we know humans are not 100% creatures.
So TSA has been preparing for this day for many years. We're ready. We can't speculate as to what is going to happen on that date because it's really up to the travelers. What we can guarantee the public is that we will do everything in our power to help people meet the requirements, get them verified if we need to. But it really comes down to numbers. How many people will be compliant, and how many people do we have to work a little extra to help? And if that's the case, then there's no guarantee that we're going to do it in time for you to make your flight.
Got it. And then one person said, "Hey, with everything that's been happening at the national level, federally, things been it's all fluid, and I'll just leave it at that. Can this be rescinded like after this day? If any is there any political process that can stop this? There people were just curious.
That would be a question for the White House.
Gotcha. Well said. Thank you so much. If there's anything else you'd like to talk about this process that we haven't touched, this is sort of open mic.
I think we've pretty much covered everything. The key for us would be use the resources. Go to our social media pages or platforms. Go to our media page. Ask those questions, but do it today because May 7th is too late, or even May 6th. Oh, one last thing I did not mention is that the paper temporary driver's license will not count as a real ID. So you have to have your physical card in order to travel with a real ID. Otherwise, look for one of those alternate forms of identification.
Exactly. And passports. How long is passports being taken to be filled out right now? I mean, if people say,
Um,
if I would rather go get a passport, I mean, a passport that takes longer than getting a real ID. Or
I don't know. That would be a question for the State Department.
okay, good deal. All right, thank you so much. Have a wonderful Easter and have a
Thank you.
great Good Friday. Bye bye.
Likewise. Thank you. Bye
Thank you.
now.